Good afternoon, everyone. It is our Halloween edition, Spooky Local SEO with DBA Platform October webinar. My name is Sarah Bryant. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at DBA Platform, where our mission is to get you found. And you guys are here because you know how important local focus is on your SEO. And today we have kind of a unique format in that Gilbert extraordinaire is going to take us through how he looks at auditing a location. So from top to bottom, how does he determine what a brand is doing, how they can do it better, what a location is doing, how the website is involved, how the Google business profile is involved. And this would be a great one to keep as a recording. We're recording it for you, and we'll put it up in the private Facebook group so that you can go back through this one, because it's going to provide enormous insight, checklists, and things to doing your local SEO audit. A few reminders before we get into that. Our office hour program, which launched in August, is going really well. People are attending and getting answers to their questions in these office hour programs. So we'll post this schedule again in the Facebook group. But if you're looking for tech support, or you want a platform walkthrough, or you want to understand the Near Me metrics reporting a little bit better, or you want to resell DBA Platform as an agency, and you want to talk about what the platform is and how to sell it. If you need some pro services help, or you need a little support with Local Falcon, there's a place for you to go. So check out the office hour schedule, and we'll publish the links for you too in the document that we put in the Facebook group. That'll be going up on our website too. Since we piloted that program, we are going to keep it. It's been really helpful, and so we're going to publish a page where you can find that information on our website. By the time we do a webinar next month, we'll have that in place for you too. One other quick note: if you have been reading the emails or coming to the webinars, you might know that our reporting platform has changed. So we're using Google's Looker to integrate all of our reporting. So our legacy reporting has been still available as we betaed the new, what we're calling Near Me metrics. And November 1st, so next week, the location of your reporting in the DBA platform is going to change. So now you're just going to find it under the Near Me metrics, but everything is being sort of transitioned over. So if you have your reports with particular dates and locations and things like that, you will still have it. It's just going to be in a different place. So look for it under Near Me metrics in the platform. Okay, here's the agenda. As always, the first thing that Ian's going to do is take us through any changes that have come up with the Google environment. And then we're going to do this walkthrough audit of some businesses to see how they look. And I don't want to give you a spoiler alert, but it is Halloween, so we might see some spooky ones, like just really not optimized, scary profiles. And then, as always, we will do the Q&A. So if you can locate on your Zoom controls your Q&A box now and open it, then during the webinar, you can scan other people's questions and upvote them. And the questions with the most votes at the end of the program, we'll handle those first, and Yen can answer any questions that anybody has about any of the topics that you're seeing today, whether it's about how to do the auditing, or really anything. You can ask anything about local search. If your question is super relevant to where Yen is in his presentation, like you're saying, hey, wait, that button on the left, what does that do? I will try to watch for those and mention them during the webinar, and then we'll save the bigger questions for the end. So make sure to open that, launch that Q&A box. Even if you don't have a question, you can participate by upvoting other questions that you think are relevant to your situation. And Yen is a person who needs no introduction for this group. He's the creator of Local Falcon. He is a Google profile product expert, and he's Toronto-based senior SEO consultant. And you know, Yen is our sort of resident local search expert, and he gets asked all the time to take a look at different business case scenarios, and the main question is, how do I improve my presence in local search? And so that's what he really spends all the time doing, and he's going to take us through today. So welcome everybody. Get your questions ready, and Yen, tell us what is new in the Google sphere.
Super. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. As always, I'm just going to take a few minutes and give us the updates, because we always want to make sure that we are ahead of the competition with all the new things that are coming out in local. So this month, actually, there haven't been any new product categories or GMB categories. So that is okay. Last month, so I just have these ones: auto window, tinting, power sports vehicle, personal watercraft dealer, and Indian motorcycle dealer. Those were the ones that were added last month, so nothing new for that. So that's slow month. It doesn't happen very often. I will move on to this other new thing that just happened basically yesterday to everyone. So if you're trying to access your dashboards for your Google business profile, you will see that when you click the link to try to access the dashboard, you will no longer have that like side panel with all these sections here. It will bring you to a search, like a Google search, and then on the top of it, you'll see, when you're logged into the correct user, you'll see this panel here, and then you can drill down into each one of them. So if you're going to your dashboard and you say, what's going on? I can't find my old one. I think Google is taking that completely away from everyone at this point. They've been slowly rolling it out. And before, you had to like say, yes, I want to try the new style, but you can also like ignore it and say, no, I want to use the other one. Now they're just forcing everyone. So don't freak out. This is going, you just have to learn it. You just have to update all your notes and where to find things. And it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt to find things, to be honest. I don't like it, but it's always that way. When there's something new, you have to just learn it again and figure it out and find out where everything is. So that is normal and nothing that you can do about, basically. So from here, we're going to go into our multi-location local SEO audit. And I've chosen a few companies here to look at, and they're all foot related. I didn't think about Halloween. I should have tried to pick something better, but yeah, athlete's foot, ankle and foot, the podiatrist. Here's a bicycle repair place, and then another DSW is a shoe warehouse. So we're going to be looking at their websites, at their Google profiles, and just go through one by one, and we're going to see what's good and what's not good about each of them. I have a checklist here, so if you want to take a screenshot of all this stuff, is what we're going to be talking about. I'm not going to go necessarily in order, but these are points that I'm going to try to highlight while we go through the websites and go through this audit that we're doing. We'll try to get this up on the Facebook group as well, so in case it makes it easier for you guys to keep track of.
Yeah, there was a question that went into the question and answer box about getting into the Facebook group. So Matt, who is administering our Zoom today, will put some links into the chat for you guys, not in the question and answer box, but the actual chat box, to tell you how to get into the Facebook group. There's a link for that. Recordings go into the Facebook group, and so we'll be giving you some links to things, and then I know Yen is going to probably publish this checklist in that Facebook group. So what will happen is you'll click that link, and Matt will be standing by to let you into the private Facebook group during this webinar. So we'll be doing that in the chat.
Awesome, super. So I don't want to go into detail and just basically, I don't want to read everything here. We'll be going through it all, but just some general ideas where in the audit, I won't have time to go into super detail. If there's a point I want to make, I will make it. But basically, we're just going to look at the Google profile. How well is it optimized? We're going to look at the website and how is it the landing page optimized, and also the website structure to see if it basically helps the strength of that local landing page, basically. So there's kind of three parts that we're going to be reviewing all these websites. So I'm going to take this off, and then I will just start out. So the first one was the athlete's foot, and I will just start out by going to their Wikipedia page. And this is what Sarah was referencing, is this one is scary. They're a very large company. They have 550 stores across many countries. And when I was looking through their website, it was horrible. It was not optimized at all. And we'll go through those pieces, but you'll see that even large companies sometimes have absolutely no SEO. Maybe they don't have anything that was ever done. It's just piecemealed everywhere. But from my point of view, that was pretty scary to look at. So look at that here. Let's just start with one of their locations. Their headquarters is Atlanta. So I'm going to pick one of their Atlanta stores. And the first thing I'm going to start to look at is just general overview. I'm doing a branded search here, and I had to put in a certain, a part of their address to get the one knowledge panel to come up, because if you have a lot of stores, sometimes you'll get multiple results there. So I just want to look at the knowledge panel at this one store. And when we're going through, what we have to do one at a time. When you have a lot of locations, it does take time, and you have to go one at a time. We'll start with this one. And so, we look at the reviews, and I look at maybe the newest ones, and I see that they're not answering the reviews. So that's something that if you're working for this business, that we would say, hey, you got to answer reviews. We've got a lot of bad reviews that you have to make sure that you got to take care of. The reviews with images are great. That's always nice to see. But there's a bunch of bad reviews, and there's not a lot of new ones. You can probably think a shoe store is getting a lot of traffic. Why aren't they getting a lot of reviews, right? So that's one of the things that I would definitely try to pay attention to. Let's look at their photos to see what makes sense here. And it looks like Google switched something on me from yesterday. So now they're doing a side-by-side image instead of just a scroll down on one. So images look fine. I don't see anything in here that is bad. What we're looking for is to make sure that the store is highlighted. If you have a storefront, you have obviously the pictures are user generated, but is the store clean? Does it look like it's displayed properly? You want to have an inviting feel. So if the pictures that users are adding are not highlighting that kind of thing, you want to overload with your own pictures, right? So you want to try to overwhelm the bad ones that users are adding with your own. So that's another thing that we would look at. Let's look here. So we have some reviews in the knowledge panel. One of the bad ones got pulled in, so that's not good. That's hard to get rid of, but it's just something, because they're a local guide, Google is paying more attention to that one. We also want to look at this, potential citations here. So it looks like in this case, I could run a full scan, but we'll see where they have a Yellow Pages, they have a Silex, they have a Yelp. And so what you want to do is go through some of these main ones that Google is putting up on the first page. And if I just look here, I just want to make sure that the branding is consistent. If there's any reviews, that they look okay, that kind of thing. And you just go through some of the main citations that are showing up on this first page of Google's, because sometimes, not in this case, but sometimes they get pulled into reviews from the web area, and they'll get pulled into here. And so that's something that, like, maybe this review might get pulled into here eventually. And so that's something that you want to pay attention to. There's no question and answers. So that's something that the business owner or you as a marketing agency can auto-populate and basically ask a question and answer your own question with professional and things that you want to highlight. So all in all, it's not too bad, except not answering the reviews. And what we want to do is look at the website link here. And I know it's kind of small, and I was looking for a plugin that was to like enlarge it, but I couldn't. But in the bottom left corner there, you'll see it. The website goes to an Instagram, and I'm not logged into Instagram, but it goes to an Instagram account, which is kind of bad because they do have a website, they do have landing pages. So why is this website URL going to an Instagram page? It makes no sense, right? And so the other thing that I like to do, again, when we're looking at franchises, is let's take a look at a bunch of locations, and depending on how many and where they're located, if they're all in one city or if they're scattered across, you might have to zoom in or zoom out to the map of the map. But basically what we're looking for is pull up something like this in your local Finder or Google Maps and get a whole bunch of listings. And in this case, you'll see that we have the Athlete's Foot, Atlanta, Atlantic Station. So that's kind of named a lot differently than this one that just says the Athlete's Foot. This one doesn't have the Athlete's Foot. This one is similar to that one. Then there's a couple here that are blank. So maybe the computer, the algorithm just automatically added these ones, or someone added them. Here's another one that has an address that's not claimed with no website. What are these? Like, that's bad for your branding when people find things like this. And then we have another one that has not a capital letter here. And so you can see that even here between all their locations, it's pretty messy. It's not branded properly. There's either duplicate locations or stray locations that pop up every once in a while. So it's something that you need to audit and check for to see, because when you have duplicates, it's either providing a bad user experience, or sometimes the duplicates rank, but they don't have any information attached to it, and they'll outrank for some reason your real listing, and so your real listing doesn't show up when people are searching for like shoe store or something like that. So depending on the proximity.
Yeah,
So,
and do you think that each of these locations was setting up their own, or do you think that they have a national co-op or marketing agency that puts these in?
it does not look, yeah, so they're in the franchise model, it looks probably like they're just purchasing the franchise, and there's no good oversight from the main parent company in this case, and they're doing it all individually, and so that's why there's no consistency. And obviously something like this where there's duplicates or there's extra
Yeah, it's like
listings
it's
that just
actually
pop up.
misspelled. It's misspelled in that one right there.
Oh yeah, it hasn't actually.
And
so
yeah, that's, I mean, you've got almost every variety of mistake in the name.
Yeah, there's even more here. I have this one, and that was in Atlanta. This one is in New Orleans, and now they have this one not capitalized. This one has TAF. So in other countries where it's not English speaking, well, we saw in Wikipedia, they have some in Middle East and Latin America, and so they're using the TAF brand, but now for some reason this one is putting TAF, which is kind of doesn't really help yourself in this market. So definitely there would need to be more oversight from the parent company to really do this kind of audit.
I mean,
Review
this
all
is
their
a great
locations.
case for agencies. You know what I mean? Agencies are the ones who tie all this stuff together, and it's so important for the user experience, because when I'm Googling things and it comes up like this, I don't really give it much thought, but it is confusing. It's like it confuses the search,
And it's inconsistent, right? So this one here, they have products added. Their reviews are okay. They're not answering the reviews, but there's no consistency with the brand, which is it hurts the brand overall when people find bad things that don't make sense. So in this case, for example, we have, remember the other one, the URL to the website went to an Instagram page. In this case, this one, if I open this, goes to their country chooser page. If I go to this one goes to completely different clothing page. And then this one goes to their home page. And so again, there's no consistency in anything. They do actually have location pages. So this one, for example, on their main website, they have a store locator right here. And if you go through the store locator, you would find this page. but you can obviously see right off the bat that it's not optimized at all. It has the brand, it has the NAP, the name, address, and phone number, but nothing else. There's no content, there's no map, there's no reviews, there's absolutely nothing. How does this help a user when they click to go to the website from a listing here? There's absolutely nothing. Even the page title doesn't even have any keywords. It doesn't have a location in there. It just says the athlete's foot, the name of the brand twice. So everything is really horrible with the website, with the Google listings. It's really all over the place, and no one has been paying attention for a long time about this kind of thing. If you go to the store locator, you will see that even though I'm in Canada and they do have stores in Canada, it's defaulting me to the Netherlands. Like, it's not tracking my IP address. It's just defaulting to some country far away. That doesn't help the user whatsoever. You can try to use that if I spell it right. Yeah, and then you can see, but then that's kind of helpful. I can click on that, but then when I get to that page, it's basically blank. How is that helpful? So the whole navigation is wonky too in that case. So
my hair cutting place that I go is Ulta, which is a chain, Ulta Cosmetics, and they have a salon in there, and every time you have to make your appointments online, and their store locator doesn't take a zip code. So if you start putting in a zip code, it takes you like to, like another country or something like that. Then the only way to find your store is you have to keep enlarging, like zooming in on the map, and you have to find where you live and just zoom until you can find your location and click it. And every 6 weeks I get my hair done, I think this is so terrible. And it's Ulta. It's their main, it's the main Ulta website.
So that's why I said, like, they have 550 stores and they're not paying attention, right? So there's probably tons of things that need to be fixed besides what I've just pointed out. So we'll just move on, just because I don't want to rail on them too much at this point. We will go to the Ankle and Foot Associates, LLC. So a smaller chain. And in this case, it is a podiatrist. And let me just go to the top here. So their website is fine. It's more local, and so it's easier to manage as far as their services and their locations, and they have links to all their locations. And let's go to one of their locations here. So again, I do a branded search with the address to pull up the specific knowledge panel, and we're looking at their photos, and we'll see what kind of photos they have. And they only have a few photos here, two photos, and that's it. So maybe they can add more. So suggestions, if you have a location like this, would be add images of the outside. I know there's a street view, but street view is out of date potentially. So add images on the outside, add images on the inside. If you have a nice waiting room, whatever it is that you want to show on the inside. If there's a doctor, for example, maybe images of his certifications, any awards he's won, anything like that you can add as images to your listing, just to help, again, increase trust, increase activity and engagement on the listing itself. The reviews are good. He's answering the reviews. The last one was almost a year ago, so maybe he can make a little bit more effort into that. And it's hard when you have locations and there's so many, to ask your franchisees if they're like separate from the main company, to try to, you have to encourage them. You have to give them the tools to try to get reviews, because sometimes they don't want to, they're busy, their employees won't do it. You have to give them tools. If come up with some kind of program or sign up to some kind of review place to help you generate more reviews, if that's something that you're missing as a whole as a business, right? Again, no question and answers, 3 good reviews. They're doing posts. That's great. So
one of the reviews says that he was an honorable pallbearer.
Right. So it has nothing to do with the business itself. That's true. So
let's bring death in for Halloween.
I'll take it because there's only 3, so I might as well take it. But and then you look at the citation. So again, for this, again, location is going to have its own citation, and so you have to do a branded search for and a location search for each one. They have a Yelp, they have a health grades, Facebook, resources. So there's yellow pages. So they have the basic citations, and sometimes you got to take a look just to make sure their health grades, in this case, because it's a medical, is one of the popular ones if you want to check it out. Why do they have 13 reviews there and only 3 reviews here? So again, a little bit of a lack there. If I go to the website URL, it's going to the home page. So if you can see in the bottom left corner, why is it going to the home page when they have a location page already set up? So it's much better to land. If you have less than, if you have 3-4 locations, you can get away with linking to your homepage. It's not that hard for a user to find where they need to go, because usually the homepage has the most SEO strength, because if there's any backlinks, they usually point to the homepage.
Hey, Jan,
But
I noticed
yeah.
that the name of the company is Ankle and Foot Associates, and the website is anklesandfeet.com. Probably that happened because they couldn't get the domain when they, but like having the domain be so different from the name of the company, does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter too much. I think that's common. Not everyone can get their branded company name all the time. So it's more the keywords in the URL can sometimes count in the beginning when you have a new website. So because Google doesn't have a lot of information, but after that, it kind of
knows.
It knows, and it gets overridden by other stronger factors, basically. So I forgot what I was saying. So okay, so the homepage usually has a lot more strength, but after 4 or 5 locations, you want to go to a location page. You want to link these website URL fields to the location page, because the location page will, you'll be able to adjust the page title very specific to that location. So in this case, Brunswick office in Southeast Georgia and South Carolina, then they have their branding. I don't see any keywords. If they're podiatrists, they don't have podiatrists near me or things like that. They don't have, you can, because you have separate pages, you can add more things in the page titles like that. They have their map. They have a picture. That's nice. They don't have any content beside this map. And I wanted to show you, I see this very, very often, is they'll put a map, embed a map. That's fine. But they're using the address. And a better option is to, instead of use the address, is embed the map of the location itself. So in this case, we will, if we go to their listing and you go to share, embed a map, you'll get a map of the actual location, so you can see where it says the name instead of just the address. It says the name, has some reviews if you have good reviews, and so then you just copy that and do that embed instead of this blank one, because it's just an easy way to show reviews as well. And then there's directions to the actual business instead of to a location, and so that can provide extra signals if someone is clicking directions to your actual business. So try to get the one with this extra card of the business instead of just the plain address on its own. And of course, we would need more content. I want to see, well, what services does this location provide? Yes, I know there's services here, but why don't we have a bunch of headings and H1, H2s, and these are all the things. I don't see any office hours over here. So we want to match those office hours to the hours that are here. So we want to make sure that everything matches from your website to your listing. Even if people don't go to your website as much anymore, we still want to make sure that Google has that matching information. So a lot of stuff that we can add here as far as content and hours and just all the different services that they're doing. What I don't like on this here is that, and this is part of their footer, if I go to the home page and I scroll down, you'll see that their footer basically has a list of all their locations. Now this is okay for the home page, But when you are on a location page, why are we linking to other locations that are potentially in, these are in different states. We have Georgia, we have Florida, and they're hundreds of miles away from each other. If you think of the journey that someone's doing, is I'm clicking here, I want to check them out a little bit more. I go to the website. I'm already interested in this one location. Why are you linking out to all these other places? You're basically not being relevant to Google or to a user. And this is across the entire website. So again, it's not necessarily good to link to all these things from the location pages, but it might make sense from your contact page, from your home page, from your about page, but not across the board everywhere. Maybe on your blogs also, because you don't know where people are coming into your blogs. But on the location page, you want to find, they're already in the funnel, so keep them there. Don't distract them with other stuff. You want to encourage them to call and make an appointment. I ran some scans on this website as well, so pretty good. There's no 404s, there's no errors like dead pages or anything like that, and that's not specifically local, but we always want to get a sense of how the website is doing. If I look at one of the location pages and I go here into the in link, so I want to see how many links, how many pages within the site are linking to my location page, because that's one of the things that is hard to do. There's not a lot of internal backlinks to your location pages, especially when you have a lot of location pages. And so it's nice to see where those links are coming from, if any. And in this case, there's nothing really besides all those links on the footer and all those links in the main menu. There's nothing, and I can see that the anchor text, it's always the same thing. So one is from the main menu, one is from that footer menu, and you can see it's just the same two. It's the same two all the time. There was one here that's a canonical, and I can see that there are no other inlinks besides those ones. And so what we're going to want to do is maybe go to some of the blog posts and insert, or go to some of the service pages and kind of sprinkle in some pages. Wow, my phone's going crazy here. Some of those if I could find a blog page, and we can do this, and then you want to use your blog page to link to other service pages, but we want to sometimes sprinkle in a location anchor text and link to different location. Maybe you want to highlight on your blog, highlight a location so you can create more internal links. So this one's better than the last one. It's obviously a smaller business and a lot more easily organized, but there's still a couple things that I would want to change overall. I'll stop for questions here, maybe, before I go to the next.
There were a few questions actually about that new interface that you talked about in the beginning.
Yeah.
So Maria asked, how are pending updates represented in the new interface?
I'm not sure. They just switched it on me yesterday, and I kept on using the old dashboard because I preferred the old dashboard. And I have not reviewed 100%. Like, I know where everything is now, but I haven't made an update and to see pending. I'm sure it works properly, but I don't know where they show it, to be honest, yet.
Okay, maybe you can when you do one and you see it, you grab a screenshot and throw it in the Facebook group for Maria.
Yeah,
pending update.
I'm sure it's going to be close to. Usually, you'll have like a strike through. I'm sure it's close to the area where you've made that update. I don't want to try to do it right now, but I'm sure it's within the section of where you made it. It probably shows a strike through or something like that. I'm not sure, to be honest.
All right, I don't know if you'll know this one because it's another question like that, but Jonathan asked, with the new GBP dashboard in search, is there any way to see the individual photo view count now? I've looked everywhere on desktop and mobile.
There are a few things missing. So I don't know, and it's either it's missing or really hard to find, but there are some things missing that they're still trying to add. So it's possible that it's not there if you've clicked around everywhere. and you're not seeing it, then it's possible that they didn't add it yet.
Okay, so Marty has a question.
Sure.
What is Google guaranteed that comes up above the 3-pack? It appears that you have to be advertising to get the guaranteed check mark. Do you have to run ads, or is there a way to get Google guaranteed on a listing without ads?
I think the Google Guaranteed is part of the local service ads program. So, and different categories of businesses have access to that. So I know he's a locksmith, so they probably have that. You have to sign up to the local service ads, and it's a different kind of ads. It's not your normal Google ads. It's probably within the same program, but you have to run local service ads. You have to get approved. So there's a little bit more of a stringent, kind of like when you're verifying your Google listing, you have to verify your business. They do a little bit extra check, and then the Google Guaranteed goes through those extra things, and then that's a whole nother optimization. And I don't talk too much about that because that's more on the ads side. So I'm not in there every day to know all the details of how to optimize and how to get up top, front, and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely an ads program, local service ad.
Yeah, John jumped in the Q&A box and said Google Guaranteed is paid through Google Local Services. It's Google's version of contractor quotes like Angie's or Howe's. Okay, this one's from Anonymous. For those of us that are new to DBA platform, is there an efficient way to sync DBA platform and Local Falcon reporting?
No, there's no direct connection between the two yet. I know they're working on Local Falcon to be able to pull that into the data into Data Studio or Looker. And so eventually I'm sure that we'll get that. Once the Local Falcon connection to Data Studio or Looker, because they've updated their branding for that, gets done, then DBA platform is running off of Looker because we're pulling in product inventory, we're pulling on all kinds of data, and that's based a lot off of Looker now. And so that'll come together and be able to integrate, but there's nothing available right now for that. That makes sense? Yeah.
Yep. Jessica jumped in with an answer, not a question. With the new interface, Jan is correct. The pending edits hang out just below the section you edited and are highlighted in red. Made a change for a client in that interface today.
Super. Thanks.
And Marty says, yep, that's what I thought when it comes to Google Guaranteed. And then Marty had one other question, which is I think I understand the question, Marty. If you make a name change from Athlete's Foot, then add Athlete's Foot - South Atlanta, will the listing get suspended?
So it depends on the category and the trust that the algorithm and the data sources have in that. What I would prefer to do is, before you just go in and update your listing, because the suspension time is still taking about a month, like if your listing gets suspended, you're 3 to 4 weeks out. Unfortunately, Google support is just really slow still. And so I'm hesitant to make changes to the core fields like the name and phone number and address, because if it doesn't take it and it suspends your listing, then you're gonna have to wait a month for it to get back up. So, but what I prefer to do before I make a name change is to maybe update the website. And maybe if you're one location, it's easier. If you're multi-location, then you have to update maybe your landing page, maybe go back and update your citations, and then wait a little bit so Google can crawl those citations. And so now instead of the Athlete's Foot, and you have Athlete's Foot XYZ location, and all your citations have the same name, and your website, like you're referring to yourself on the website, or at least on that page, that specific location page, in that manner, you'll have a much higher chance of, one, Google accepting that edit without causing any issues, because all the data is kind of matching together, and two, less of a chance of someone reporting because you're keyword stuffing, because your website matches your citation match and all that kind of thing. So I like to do a little bit of prep work. You can also upload an image to your listing with that new branding as well. Again, Google is able to see what's in an image, and so it'll read what's on that image as well. So get all the data together, wait a week or two before Google crawls things, and then if you really want to make that change, go ahead, but do it, be safe, try to be safe. Is it possible that it'll still get suspended? Yes, it's possible, especially if you're in more spammy categories where basically anything gets suspended. If you update any little thing, it gets suspended. So garage door, locksmiths are harder for sure. It's going to be
In the case of the athlete's foot, it's a retail store, so it's not in a terrible category for making changes like that. But like, there's misspellings in the titles of those profiles, and they don't have and they don't have the apostrophe. I mean, if you correct the spelling, you know what I mean? That one had an extra E in the word athlete. If you corrected that in the profile, do you think you'd get suspended?
It can. It just depends on the algorithm. Typically in a storefront, no. But I've seen a lot of people saying, I've corrected my listing to be, I was out of compliance and I made updates to put it in compliance, and then I get suspended.
Yeah.
So just because you're trying to fix something and make it better the right way doesn't mean that you get a free pass.
I know this question is going to come up, but can you run through the few fields that put you in the most danger for being suspended? So that's name change. What else? Just so everybody knows, because we make updates in the profiles constantly, but there are some category, some fields that are going to trigger a suspension.
So the address is the worst. So if you move, Google's kind of sees, well, we want to verify, just like you got verified the first time, they have to verify your new location. So if you move, for sure, changing address or hiding your address or trying to add address, anything with the address field, the name would be the second one, and then the phone number is a third one. That are the most important. The other fields, attributes, and some categories maybe, but not really anymore. There used to be a bug that just got fixed like last week, that any little edit would suspend you, even if you were just adding a service or something, you would get suspended. So Google fixed that one. So we shouldn't see any like small edits causing suspensions anymore. So it's just the main name, address, phone number, really, that you should be careful. But if you need to fix it, you need to fix it, and then you just have to. It depends on the algorithm and what it knows. But like I said, prep your stuff before. Again, if you're moving and you want to have a chance of it going through, then update your citations, update the address on your website, and then change it in the Google listing. That way the algorithm had a chance to collect all that data and says, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. They matches the website, matches the citations, and we'll accept that edit.
Let's
all right.
see. Marty says probably category 2. Not good to change your primary category. Naaman says, I tried to the featured image for the business profile, and it did not change immediately. Oh, probably I tried to change the featured image for the business profile. It did not change immediately. Is there a reason for that? It took some time and then finally changed.
That's normal. It takes a couple hours now. Sometimes when you're adding an image or updating images, even sometimes other fields with a post, sometimes they don't show up right away. Or if you add a product and it has an image, I think anything with images really it takes a couple hours, because now Google is trying to process every image through its AI image detection program, and so it just takes some time. It's not immediate like it used to be. So yeah, Google doesn't tell us these things. We just have to figure it out. So when it changes, it used to go, you just refresh the page and it would be there. It would be updated, and now it doesn't. It's like, well, did it break? Did I do it the right way? Should I contact support? No, you just have to wait a few hours and it'll change. But now everyone's trained a certain way, expects a result, and now when they change it and not tell anyone, it's kind of real pain. I'll keep going. I got 2 more businesses here. So I'll go through this faster. We got VeloFix, and let me find the right tab here. Oh, one last thing with the podiatrist one, and on our list, I said check your schema on your local page because you want to use the local business schema. In this case, they're not using local business schema, and the local business schema has like the branding, has the address, has the hours, has that kind of stuff. So we want to make sure that the schema specific to the store is on those specific landing pages. And in this case, they're trying to add a podiatrist, and Google's like, no, that's not a real type of schema type. So it's causing an error. So that's not going to show up anywhere like that. So make sure you go through the schema validator. It's easy to just search. And again, each individual location has to be checked for all these steps. And I have that checklist that we'll publish later.
Whenever you go through these, I always think, but this stuff is like, it's so obvious, like spell the name of your company correctly and da da da. But we never do this and don't find pretty big errors. It's, I mean, big companies, big, you know, and it's stuff. So you just grab that checklist and you could find stuff to fix all day. And I think as an agency, that's great because it gives you a lot of work to do. And if you represent the brand and you're in the marketing department and, you know, then you can actually get good results doing that. Like it will improve. The competition is not fierce for this.
Cool. So VeloFix, I'll go through this one quickly. Here, you know, they have a bunch of locations. I'll go to here and check their branding. And so you can see that they're adding their locations on each one. There is a little bit of leeway on franchises where Google will let you put that extra location modifier without giving you trouble. And if a user tries to suggest an edit, it probably will get denied. And so you can get away with that a little bit more than a one location store. But you can see that you know, it just doesn't look great. Sometimes it's lowercase, sometimes it's uppercase, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not, sometimes there's a dash, sometimes there's no dash. So again, the consistency of the branding I feel is important, and it's missed a lot of times. If we go to their website, so we'll go to their website, and their website is very slow. So I'm doing this. You can see how slow it's loading, and I'm not going to stay on this page too long. But if I go to their title page, it just says Toronto Lakeshore Beaches, and then their branding. I don't have any services. I don't have any keywords in there. I don't know, like, why don't you put bicycle repair in your title page? Like, why? Like, it's just not even the basic title is not optimized. And that's just basic, simple SEO. And
as you were saying this,
as
you were saying this, Jan, and I know at the beginning of the webinar you said I have like three foot places and a cycling one. But as you were talking, I'm looking at this page and I'm like, what do they do? What do they do? What do they do? What are they? What is this one? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you're
so
like, and why don't you say cycle repair?
Why isn't there H1 here, like their main keywords? Like it's just, I don't want to get too crazy into this. The website is slow. So they have some content, so that's better. They have links to other locations close by, so that's a little bit better than having locations that are far away. But there's no keywords here, like you're saying. What do you do? There's events, but there's information lacking. There's no service hours, and now there's nothing there. So what happens? Like, there's just not a great.
Well, if you look at their van, it really doesn't say what they do either. You know,
right? You have to assume, like, you have to know what they do. Right?
Well, so, yeah. If you know what a Velo is, then VeloFix, the name works.
Yeah.
But that's not really English.
There's other things wrong with this site, but it's just really like I click on the tab and it doesn't even work properly. But they do have a location finder, which is okay. I'm gonna just do this. It just takes an extra. I click and now I have to wait. Like, so they have a location finder and they're in different countries. and that's okay. And so there's an important thing. A lot of times you have a location finder and there's a map, right? You want to make sure you always have HTML, like in content links to your location pages. You don't want to have, sometimes, a lot of times there's a map and you search, and there's no way for Google to crawl from your home page to a location page very easily. Google knows about the location pages because you're linking to them from your listings, but they're not within the website structure. So if I go down and I click, at least there's links here. I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to have to skip through this. I didn't go through the knowledge panel, but it's the same thing. We went through it before. Look at the knowledge panel, look at the pictures, look at the reviews, all that stuff. I'm gonna stop with DSW. That they're doing a lot of the right things, and you can see where their branding is all exactly the same. It's very strict with what they can do and what they're showing. And so if we go to their website URLs, they all have, again, it's very small at the bottom. They all have the tracking to know, so your analytics team can know when a website, there's a click from a website, click from maps, from organic. And so all of that is really nicely done. It's all the same. If we click, they have tons of reviews. You see the athlete's foot, they're a shoe place too. They had hardly any reviews. They have thousands of reviews. They have questions and answers on there. You can go through that. And then if I look at, I'm going to skip through here. They have different, sorry, my phone. Okay. And then on their location page, they have their hours, they have their address, they have an okay title. They don't have any keywords in their title, but it's still fine. It tells you where it is, has the branding. There's information for people if they do go here. They have all kinds of links to other internal pages. They have other things here. They have different sections of all their internal links of different brands that they're linking to. Learn more. And they have links to other location pages, but only the ones nearby, not every single one. And so oh, well, maybe I'm out and I want to go to this one instead because it's 5 miles away and I'm just closer there that day or something. So that's helpful for a user. The only thing that I don't like about this one is, and I'm kind of cutting it short here, is they put their location pages on a different URL. So their main URL in this case would be dsw.ca, or they have dsw.com, but they have a sub URL stores. And so I prefer to have, for the SEO value, to have all that within one main website instead of doing sub directories instead of sub URLs. But that is, again, I have to cut it short here, but you can tell that the ones that are doing it well, not doing well, but even on the ones that are doing it well, there's still pieces. And I know large companies have more restrictions on what they can and what they can't do. But definitely, there's a huge range of even in large franchises that they're just not optimized. And there's a lot of, someone call the athlete's foot and give me a sales commission when you make that sale, because they need help.
You can send a recording of the webinar over to them.
Yeah.
There one other question. You were talking about local business schema. And so Jess asked if you have any advice for adding local business schema to Squarespace sites.
Oh man, I only worked on one Squarespace site. I think sometimes you have to pay a certain amount to be able to embed text or HTML. I don't know if you're allowed to even, either they let you or they don't. And I don't know with Squarespace whether there'll be a block. You'll have to pick HTML block or code block, and then you add schema through code. So it's just you got to find a code block and be able to add that into your page.
Nathan says, why would you name your business after a fungal infection? I'm going to say, because Monday is Halloween. And then Anonymous asks, do you agree that batch geo is a good solution for location pages?
I'm not sure what batch geo means. If that's
Me either.
yeah, let me just check
Batch
this out.
geo. So
Okay, make a map. That's why I thought it was a specific. I'm not familiar with this platform or exactly how it works. So sorry, I can't answer that. But ask the same question in the Facebook group, and then I'll take a few minutes and check it and maybe answer you there.
if you put location information in your main footer with an embedded map, does it get credit for being throughout the website?
Does it get credit for being through? Well, if it's on the footer, then it's going to be on every page, so it'll get. I'm not sure
I mean, it will show up on every page,
yeah.
but it's not duplicate content, so I'm not sure what credit for being throughout the website means. Okay, so I have a question for you guys. Coming up in the next few months, of course, we will have our advisory board panelists join us for a webinar. And we do have a couple of topics that we want to do, over the next 6 months. But very rarely do we ask you guys who attend our webinars, what would you like the webinar topic to be? So I just wanted to take the last minute or so of the webinar. If you have a suggestion of something that you would like to see, I can tell you that the most popular webinar attendance is always when we do like just basic local SEO question and answer. That's a really popular topic. Just go over the basics. And we try to mix it up a little bit because, if people attend multiple webinars, we don't want to give the exact same content and make it, boring. And so like today we did a walkthrough on some real life examples. But this kind of like basic local SEO content is really interesting to people. But I'm wondering if there are other topics that you guys would like for Yan to tackle in the upcoming months. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds of silence to think about it. And then if you can drop some potential topics, we can consider whether they would be broad enough for our whole audience and schedule them. So 10 seconds of thinking.
Yeah. This one was fun. I didn't even work that hard to find the listings, the websites, but there's a lot. It's very difficult because there's a lot of locations, and you have to work on every page. You have to work on every GMB listing. You have to check all the citations for each location. So it's a lot of work. Whether you're in-house or a marketing agency, it takes time to get to all the pieces. So it's normal that there's always going to be in progress. And things change. If there's reviews and there's Google updates, and there's always something. So you have to keep up to date on top of trying to fix of all the other stuff that you have to, like, there's new locations. I got to create a new page and do a new listing. So there's a lot of work on franchise listings. There's no way besides the DBA platform where we're pushing. We're trying to automate all the information as much as you can, but there's still a lot of manual work to do. But that's why DBA platform exists, is really to help automate as much as possible so that you can spend time on the stuff that you have to manually look at and change, like what we just talked about today. Yep.
Some of that stuff is just sweat equity, to make those changes, to keep looking at it, to make sure that everything matches. And so if you can automate your posting, photos, review management, and make it easy for yourself, because anything that you have to do on an ongoing basis becomes something that can fall between the cracks. So DBA platform can automate a lot of that for you, and then you still have to go. There's no way to fix the website without a person going and like managing that process. So you will always have to do that, but at least the profile could be guaranteed to be cleaned up and active. So we got some good ideas. How to rank in the Google Map Pack, that is our #1 most popular. And mostly everybody said that again, how to rank in the Google Map Pack, deconstructing how to rank in the Google Map Pack, search area SEO for Google business profiles. So we'll pull these together. Just want to make sure that these are still the topics that you guys want to hear about. And please, you know, join the Facebook group. Matt put the link in. He'll probably put it in here again for you, so that you can get updates on some of these topics that we talk about, get the recording. Definitely go and find the businesses that we talked about today, and somebody can snag those as an agency to fix them. You know, try DBA platform, give it a spin, get some automation going in your life. If you have any questions, join us on our office hours or connect with us through the website. And thanks guys for attending. We'll see you in November for a Thanksgiving webinar.
Thank you.